to Know It All, where we bring you the best practices and strategies to optimize your Medicare sales process. We want you to know it all. I'm Kristen.
And I'm Rob, and today we want to talk to you about the top 3 things to know about your working Medicare eligibles.
We get a lot of questions about folks who are Medicare eligible but still working.
Absolutely. So let's take a look at number 1.
All right, number 1, know your employer group size when you're talking to your client.
Absolutely. When we're looking at this, we want to look at the magic number, which is 20.
Right.
So that's going to determine really if that group is considered large or small and is set up by the Medicare payer rules.
Right. So if the employer group has under 20, then Medicare pays first. Over 20, Medicare pays second.
Right, you kind of get into the Abbott and Costello thing,
right,
where who pays first, what pays second, and I don't know if anyone pays third.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, and then the second thing is Part B. Is that required or not for your employer group size?
There are a lot of groups that were local groups that were taking that Part B cost and just kind of eating that cost.
Right.
But there have been changes to that. UPMC, which is a local carrier for us, made changes to that secondary payer rule, and there's going to be passing that on to consumers starting in January of this year.
Okay, important to know. Yeah, so maybe know the carrier for that employer group as well and
right,
how they're functioning with Part B.
Exactly, and as we get to AEP this year, we're going to need to know that and make sure that we can make those changes.
All right, so number 1 was 20, over or under.
Yep.
Number 2, what do you get out of the plan?
Absolutely, yeah. So if you're in a large group, you want to consider, the premium, what you're paying, because a lot of times that they pay first, you might get a little bit more out of it than
right,
you would out of Medicare paying first and the group paying second.
Also know Part B premium.
Yes.
So that's a monthly cost. Are you paying Part B or not? So that has to be considered.
Right. If you don't need Part B, what do you actually need to pay for? That can be a really big portion of that. So it's a bit different for a small group.
That's right. So the small group, there's a few other financial costs to consider. So number 1, what is the employee's contribution or
right,
the premium? So what are they actually paying monthly to have that coverage?
Mm-hmm.
On top of that, is there a deductible? What does the plan look like? And that's where you can do your comparison shopping, right? Both financial and benefits.
Absolutely, because if you don't have a lot of costs going in
yeah,
through Medicare, you might not even ever get out of that deductible phase, and
that's
you're
right,
contributing every month and not really getting a whole lot out of that. Some other things to consider is is the client's spouse on the employer plan? If you leave it, are they going to lose coverage?
And if they're under 65, that's another issue to deal with, right?
Right, and we see people extending their work lives
yes,
longer to keep their spouse covered.
Correct.
And then really the last piece, that other benefits might be tied into it. If there's life insurance or other different programs,
correct,
if they're dental, vision, all
a
those
package.
things.
It can
right,
be a whole package.
Exactly. So all things to consider in that. So number 3.
Number 3. All right, drugs must be considered, prescription drugs.
Oh, absolutely. There's so much difference in cost between an employer plan and how Medicare covers some of those drugs.
Yes.
And you really want to make sure that there's nothing that's going to be cost prohibitive. What's the easiest way to do it?
Medicare Center.
Exactly.
If you're not on Medicare Center, definitely check it out. It's the best way to compare drugs. Actually, in a comparison, the prices will come right up for you.
Absolutely, and if you're looking over all 3 of these particular
mm-hmm,
topics, you're going to find, a cost analysis on how the employer plan stays, how the Medicare plan stays, and this is really going to help determine if leaving that plan is actually the appropriate course of action.
That's right. You ready to button it up, Rob?
Let's do it.
All right. So, in summary, number 1, you need to know the size of the group you're dealing with.
Right. It's going to determine who pays first and if you need Part B or not.
That's right. Second, is it worth it?
Right. What are you getting out of the plan, and what could you get out of a plan if you change?
That's the comparison there. And finally, prescription drugs.
Right. Make sure everything's covered, and if that's the right course of action, take it.
That's right. So agents, I hope that you enjoyed this segment. If you are interested in more information about Medicare secondary payer rules or anything Rob and I talked about, please comment below or call us. We'll be happy to send you some additional information.
That's all we have for Know It All today. Please be sure to like and subscribe to get all the great video content. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.